The story of a young man who goes to pieces. How'd it get to this? Then manages to find himself again.
Carmine
Lupertazzi. Some of you know I've had 9 pictures under my subspecies.
Calling all cars.
There he is, live from Miami Beach. You put your sunblock on?
Considering that little Carmine lives in Miami Beach, I've got a feeling that he has a handle on the sunscreen thing, but I suppose a dad can't help himself. While the conflict was ongoing, it didn't appear that little Carmine had helped at all. In fact, he appeared to make it worse.
On reflection, John, maybe that's the sticking post. Tony feels like you're friends and not business associates.
As Carmine Sr. originally didn't budge from his 40% demand regarding the HUD business moving forward. But I suppose that little Carmine may have come through in the end, just as Johnny Sack was trying to arrange for Carmine Sr. to be taken out.
Could be looking at a period of potentially violent power struggle.
Of course, no one wants all-out conflict. But historically, historical changes have come out of war.
What's this, the fucking UN now?
This isn't the UN, Angelo.
I'm telling you, Carmine. We go all out, we'll steamroll right over John. It'll be easy.
After Carmine Sr. died, in terms of the people that tried to influence little Carmine the most, I'd say Rusty Melio and Angelo Guarepi. While Angelo was part of the plan to get Tony B to kill Joey Peeps, by the time we get to unidentified black males, Angelo is much more cautious. On the other hand, Rusty thinks it's a good idea for Carmine to get out there and steamroll over all of them. At the end of season 5, little Carmine backs off. Carmine decides to take a turn back into the film industry.
That being said, I usually find it helpful at this. Get your inputs, or notes as we call them. I usually send the bags up, hit the bar, decompress a little unless you're against it. You're in AA, just don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
Something that showed Carmine's consideration and thoughtfulness, in my opinion, was the scene in Luxury Lounge when he asks Christopher what he wants to do when they first check into the hotel. He wants to be considerate, which, as we know, many of the other guys wouldn't think twice about.
He's a 12-stepper, right?
Maybe he can take another couple of steps out the door so we could have some fun.
So I'll cut to the chase. No one plays a tough, ruthless, hard-hearted prick like you do. There's one thing my father taught me, it's this. A pint of blood costs more than a gallon of gold.
What are you, my accountant?
Your brother Billy, whatever happened there?
Why would you possibly bring that up?
There's speculation that little Carmine knew what he was doing when he made the "your brother Billy, whatever happened there" comment.
Fool the eye. Your brother Billy, whatever happened there?
But then if that's the case, why would little Carmine make that comment?
This infighting's costing money.
Would it be to spite Phil for siding with Johnny Sack when he got out of the can in the fight over who was going to be the next boss of the Lupertazzi family? There's also the possibility that Carmine wasn't thinking, and he just said something dumb.
You're not happy.
Could I be happier? Yeah. Who couldn't?
You know what? Give me an Arnold Palmer instead of the iced tea.
Okay.
I always enjoy those, but it never occurs to me to order one. I had this dream. He's wearing one of these gold paper crowns, like a Burger King. It wasn't about being boss. It's about being happy.
When Carmine tells Tony that it wasn't about being boss, it was about being happy, apparently it didn't get through to Tony. At least not in a way where he looked inward at his own life. Though, maybe it's not that he didn't reflect. Maybe he just knew that where he is where he wants to be, despite all the agita that it may bring him.
This alteration you had with him. You're at the precipice, Tony, of an enormous crossroad.
My kid saw a shrink for that thing with his wife. They're very happy now.
Carmine Sr. says his son got court-ordered to see a therapist with his wife. While Carmine always has an agenda, one way or another, it appears that therapy isn't quite as taboo in the Lupertazzi family as it was in Tony's family.
When Alexandra had that bout of anorexia, We had this terrific psychologist.
And perhaps this therapy really did help Carmine, leading to a different outcome further down the road when Nicole tells little Carmine she doesn't want to be the wealthiest widow in Long Island.
Go ahead, Carmine. Just gonna sit there?
It didn't have to be this way.
There's speculation that little Carmine was more involved with the ending, with Tony's final fate, than what meets the eye. So little Carmine wasn't at the sit-down in the Blue Comet when Phil said, "There's no more scraps in my scrapbook," and gave the order to take out the top guys in the DiMeo family. But here in the finale, Carmine is there. It's almost like he's a substitution for Phil. Or perhaps not a substitution, but little Carmine might have had more of a handle on things than we'd expect. And we can even see Butchie looking at him after Tony makes a request to get a location on Phil.
My price is you help us get a location on Phil.
I can't go there.
Go ahead, Carmine, you're just gonna sit there? Perhaps he learned from his mistakes.
I talked to little Carmine, and he's interested in developing it through his company.
After this final sit-down, what else do we hear about little Carmine? Well, apparently, AJ's gonna go work for him.
Anything I could do, Tony, for Anthony Jr.
Thank you.
Not for nothing, little Carmine did say to Tony that if there's anything he can do to help AJ, he'd be happy to. So maybe this is that thing. Though it could also be a good way for little Carmine to deny any involvement in it. Because he could say, "I just hired Tony's son to work for me. I don't want anything bad to happen to that family." Plausible deniability.
Enjoy your success.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. What do you think of little Carmine?